Hello, good evening. So that's Amy Matchen, manager of StartGBC, your gateway to entrepreneurship at George Brown College. And I would like to introduce Kevin McGurgan, British Consul General in Toronto.
Thank you very much, everybody. Delighted to say a few words. And I think the judges now go out for a period of time. We'll have a few speakers, and then we have some videos, and then I come back on stage to do a sort of song and dance routine to keep you occupied if the judges haven't come back in time. As I said on the first day here, some of you may have wondered why on earth has the British government stood here today with Torontonians, Canadians, on this great piece of innovation that's been done. I just want to reiterate that, and then I just want to pick up on something Mayor Tory said in his introductory remarks from my perspective. 3 years ago, my Prime Minister, David Cameron, set a challenge to the group of 7 industrialized nations. He saw, as Jordan described, the growing challenge of dementia. 44 million people globally affected, the numbers rising. And he set a challenge to all G7 nations to do something about it, to collaborate on this growing issue, to invest in research, to support people with dementia, but also support those who are their caregivers. And the reason we're here today is when it came to sort of scratching our brains and thinking about how we would address this here in Canada, the logical place to do this was in Toronto. And the logical place for people to do this with was the HackerNest organization in partnership with a whole range of others across the innovation community. And it's been my privilege to live here for the last 14 months or so. And I've lived in 21 countries around the world in a 25-year diplomatic career. And I've visited about 50 others of them. And they include your neighbor to the south. They lived in New York. They include Sweden, which is also a home and hotbed of innovation. But I candidly cannot think of anywhere in this world where you have this incredible talent, evidenced by everybody here in this room, the presentations tonight, Mars, George Brown College, the Waterloo-Kitchener Ottawa corridor, matched with something I think is much more important, such a strong civic attitude to do the very best for everybody in the community here. And that's really what I've been so impressed with what I have seen tonight, that everybody has come together, whether you're an engineer, a programmer, an artist, a designer, or you're creative in general. It's been really inspiring to see at grassroots level what people can do when given 30 hours to make a difference. And I hope that my government, and I will work hard to this, will continue to fund this sort of work and collaborate here in Canada, because Canada, for me, and Toronto, is a big home of innovation. This is, at the end of the day, the country that, for want of a better description, sent and received the first text message with Marconi in Newfoundland, right the way through to the work carried out here by Frederick Banting, who discovered insulin. And everybody in this room is just part and parcel of that next generation of great innovators who are going to do so much more in this great city. So thank you very, very much. I'll get my tap shoes on later, but please enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you, Kevin. And next I'd like to call on Rodney Ghali, Director General, Public Health Agency of Canada.
Great, thank you, Amy. It's really a pleasure to be here tonight to be representing the federal government at this really important event. I was going to actually start off my remarks as a bit of a counterbalance to Mayor John Tory's remarks around how incredible Toronto is. Coming from Ottawa, I wanted to say I think that is actually the center of the universe. But I do have a feeling that this is the wrong audience, I think, to kind of make those remarks. So I'm going to cede that award to Mayor John Tory. But I wanted to actually, in my remarks, sort of offer 3 thank yous. So the first thank you is to HackerNest and Cheryl for putting on what is an amazing event. This is the first sort of hackathon that I've ever been to, and I was so impressed with the organization, the skills that went behind sort of putting off, from my perspective, just a flawless event. Next, I want to sort of offer thanks to sort of my government colleagues from the UK, the Ontario government, the municipal government. I think what we have been able to demonstrate from a governmental perspective is how we can transcend our jurisdictional boundaries, how we can come together around a really important public policy issue and say to our constituents how important this is. And finally, and most importantly, I want to say thank you to all of the participants, the 300 individuals that came here this weekend, the 70 teams that came together over a 2-day period and demonstrated what is great about this country. The ingenuity, the enthusiasm, the unbelievable sort of expertise that all came together in 2 days and put together these amazing ideas that we saw here today. And I think, from an individual like myself, I've been working in government for 20 years in health and in public health. And I've lamented over what I view as the lack of sort of technology within my sector. And when I see these ideas today, I see the power of what can be brought to the sector. Technology not just as sort of an add-on to our daily lives, technology not just to entertain us, but technology that can actually make the lives of Canadians better, the lives of individuals with dementia and their caregivers better. So I wanted to offer my thanks to everyone here tonight. Thank you so much to all the participants, and best of luck to the top 8 finalists, and I look forward to seeing the winners sort of move forward, and my hope is that the winning idea and all the ideas will see the light of day and be mainstream. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And I would like to ask Cheryl Kim, Vice President Corporate Reputation at Aimia, our platinum sponsor, to come up. Thanks.
So this has been just an incredible evening. I think everybody here in the room has felt just the power of potential in all of the presentations that we've had. Mayor Tory talked at the beginning about all the talent that we have in this city, and one of the things that struck me, I do a lot of events where you get to see a lot of different people come from the city, and this thing that killed me, that was so amazing about this, is the absolute diversity of the people that were in this room. Young, old, of every race and religion, I'm quite sure. It speaks to the beauty of the city and also its power. I think one of the things that we like to talk about at Aimia is the untapped potential we have when you have a city where over half of our population comes from somewhere else. And I think that that evidence is at play here today in a very subtle way. One of the things at Aimia that we do is, as Jordan said, everybody can run a hackathon. Guilty as charged. Last week, Aimia held something called a data philanthropy event. And in that event, we also brought together data analysts, which we have throughout the company around the globe. And we bring them in one room, work with 4 charities that we did, and look at all the data that they're sitting on and how can we help unlock that, because our company happens to have a bunch of analysts, and that's actually a pretty rare commodity in Canada. And I think one of the things that companies like ours can do in contributing to the volunteerism and to the generosity of talent we have in this city is donate those unique skills that you can bring to an organization and to events such as this. And a lot of different people have done that here today in terms of the medical experience, the personal experience, and of course the researchers. So I want to thank everybody for all the time, energy, and devotion that you've put into this event. 30 hours is a very, very short amount of time, and it's a gift, really, to be able to focus on anything that intensely, I think, for 30 hours. It's something I'm actually quite jealous of, because everybody, tries to do these innovations around the margins, and to be able to focus on that, I think, is, well, you can see the power of what you can do with just a few focused days. I'll leave you with one thought. There was a lot of innovation that happened in this room and that we've seen, and that actually happened with our other presenters. Innovation is one of those things that Sometimes it's a knock it out of the park kind of an innovation, a Facebook, for example. But some of those innovations are really, really incremental. And I think that we need to remember that both of those are really valuable, particularly when you're trying to address a situation like the challenges that dementia patients are facing in our community. So all of the contributions that people have developed over the last couple of days are, in my point of view, really, really valuable to the overall effort that people are trying to get out of this. So thank you very, very much.
Kevin.
Okay. How's everybody's energy levels? Okay? Right. So I'm going to show a video first for about 4 minutes, and I'll run through a list of thanks to people. The video I want to show is the one with Carey Mulligan, who some of you will know is a British actress, currently starring in the film Suffragette. And it's her personal story about her grandmother, her nana, who had Alzheimer's. And it forms part of a campaign that's been going on for the last 2 years in the UK to raise awareness. So we thought we'd put that together first before coming to say a few thank yous. Okay.
My grandmother has had Alzheimer's for about 11 years. We were very close, Nance and I. We still are, you know, in the way that we are now. It's different, but she taught me how to sing. She got me interested in poetry. She was just a really, really warm, maternal, amazing person. You couldn't leave her house without a car full of stuff that she just volunteered to give you. We used to bake together. We used to make this amazing cherry cake, cherry almond cake, which I've just got the recipe for after years of searching for it. Yeah, we just had amazing times together. And then when we started noticing that she had symptoms, you know, obviously things changed a little bit, and we had to find a new way of dealing with things. Maybe 6 years ago, she was still living at home, but it was getting to the point where she had to, you know, it was time for her to be in somewhere where she could be looked after all the time. And we sat down to have dinner, and my mother was there, and she looked at the knife and fork in front of her and the plate of food, and she couldn't understand how to use the knife and fork. And so we explained, and it was all fine. It was one of those sort of momentary. But then after dinner, she went to the piano, and she just started playing the piano. And she played the piano for half an hour with both hands, which to me is genius, because I can't do that. But, you know, it was amazing, because music was just something that it just stays, so it resonates for such a long time. One of the ways that we communicate with her now is through music, but sometimes if she's distressed or if she's not communicating, if you play a piece of music, she'll start tapping her feet, or, you know, occasionally a little bit of song will come out. So now I make her mixtapes, and I sort of judge it by, you know, I'll make a sort of mixed CD, and I judge those people on the CD by whether she approves of them or not. But she loves sort of male voice choirs and opera singers, and she really, you can see her just relaxing, so it's a lovely way to see her. Today she's not really, she doesn't recognize anyone, she's not communicative. You know, she's different from time to time. Sometimes she's very quiet and she just sleeps. Sometimes she makes a lot of noise. Sometimes there's an amazing moment where you see exactly who she was, or, you know, exactly who she is inside. You know, there was obviously a period of time that was very difficult. Not least for Nance, you know, when she was experiencing the confusion and understanding that, and self-awareness that she was sort of forgetting things and becoming forgetful. That was very difficult. But it's almost better now that she's sort of past that stage, and she's in a really amazing home that we love visiting, because it's so vibrant and such a joyful place to be. There are very simple ways of just engaging with people and treating people with respect, and spending time with them. I think time is probably one of the most valuable things. You know, I only had experience of Nance and of how she went through it. And you meet people, it's just so different from person to person. It really is an individual thing. And you know, that's really a reminder of how unique everyone is, and how, you know, important it is to respect each person. This is something that's really a painful thing for families and really, really hurts people. It causes this great amount of stress and sadness and anxiety and grief, and it's just not given the attention that it needs. I think people think that it's just sort of a part of being old. So I think, you know, when people can understand it as an illness and that it needs to be researched and there needs to be prevention and there needs to be cure, then we can start tackling it seriously.
Wow. Incredibly moving. And I don't have any words to follow that at all, other than I think that everybody who participated in this and who clearly had taken on board the advice of, I'll come through other sponsors here, but I think two of the most important people, if not the most important people for this hackathon were Phyllis and me. Without them, yes, please, no, you should clap them, you should. Faye isn't with us tonight. She has gone back home and she's got back home because Phyllis's husband took her back home. You know, as an example of how people with dementia and carers look after each other as a community. Phyllis, of course, is next door, busy making sure her voice, her input is heard into the final outcome, because that was one of the things we strongly took away from our first hackathon, our beta hackathon, if you like, about the importance of making sure those who have dementia, their views are heard, that they are part and parcel of the solutions. And so many of the solutions that were both not just presented tonight, but as I walked around in the 2 days, it was very clear you had taken on board their thinking into your applications. So thank you very, very much. We have a full range of other people I must get through to thank. So each of the challenge sets had a champion, from Airbnb to Aimia. So thank you very, very much indeed. And there were different gold industry champions here, from TELUS, Gluskin Chef, Scout Logistics, Goodman's, Effort Trust, the Canadian Centre for Aging and Brain Health Innovation, Royal Bank of Canada, Sid Lee, the Ontario Brain Institute, the Association of Directors of Adult and Social Services. The media partners for the event were the National Post and St. Joseph's Communications, and we were helped enormously by the work of Energy PR. But when I think back to that first hackathon of a year ago, and I think then of the media interest that has been generated in this hackathon, it's beyond compare. During the course of 72 hours, you've had articles in the Globe and Mail raising awareness. You've had CBC Sparks being interviewed 2 to 3 times by CTV. It is very clearly a subject that matters to the community and that the media has picked up on. And thank you very, very much indeed for giving it your full coverage. And a particular special thanks to a whole range of others who, like so many things, come together to make it happen at the final moment. The Alzheimer's Societies of Canada, Ontario, Toronto, and the UK, Baycrest, Heart and Stroke Foundation, the Universities of Waterloo and Toronto, Mount Sinai, Omer's Ventures, Purple Elephant, and Maven Care. Real honour to have had Mayor John Tory here this evening. You've heard him speak so eloquently about what he believes this city is capable of and what we can contribute to. And finally, I did mention them earlier, but I do genuinely believe they have been the 2 most important people throughout this. And this is not to do down the 350 of you who've slaved away for 30 hours to make things happen. But Bay and Phyllis have touched us all with their stories, have made us realize what we must do to help them and to help 44 million others like them across the globe, and to give their time, support, and effort has been fundamental to producing the superb hackathon here today. So when Phyllis in particular comes back in, I'll be asking her to come up, and I think rightfully she should have probably the final word if the sponsors will allow it. So got one more video, and then I think you've had enough of me, and you should just talk amongst yourselves and raise the level up. This one's a little bit more flashbangy, 1 minute to grab your attention. It's the current campaign in the UK on Alzheimer's. Features a number of people, some might recognise, some might not, but they're major UK celebrities and thinkers around the subject of Alzheimer's.
Let's tell everybody.
Alzheimer's disease
is fast becoming the greatest medical challenge of the 21st century. The condition affects more than 820,000 in this country, and
there is no way to prevent
1 million by 2021,
to cure
40 million people worldwide,
or even slow the progression of Alzheimer's disease.
Alzheimer's strips bits off you until there's not much of you left.
what do you think can be done?
research can't tackle it.
Dementia research
Can't tackle it with enough support and resources.
Research is the answer. Research is the answer.
We need more money in research to find a cure.
If not the cure, something similar to the treatments now available for HIV.
We need action now. Action now.
Research can change the future.
Your future.
For the facts and to join the fight back, search AR UK.
I think I'd be happy to know that I was perhaps one of the last generation to have to fear Alzheimer's.
I've got one more thing to say, and that's it. You can talk amongst yourselves. This is obviously the second hackathon on DementiaHack that's been done here in Toronto. It was always the plan, I believe, JJ has confirmed this to me, that at the right moment, this would be taken to another city, and then moments after that would go properly international. So in early 2016, HackerNest will be taking DementiaHack to New York. So where Toronto leads, New York follows. Good.
All that applause just for me? Ladies and gentlemen, our judges have arrived at several decisions.
Perfect timing. Excellent.
So first off, this was not an easy decision. Not that I had any part in it, because I'm not a judge. But it was a very contentious room. There was a lot of fighting, some nails, punches thrown, etc. For the Diagnose Individual Challenge set, can we please get both teams standing up on stage so it's really dramatic? Steve. Can we get the lights up, please? We have Steve Wellman and Amy Dang, who are going to be handing out trophies. For the Diagnose Individual Challenge set, your winners are Take Me Home. Will the two teams from the Family Caregiver Challenge set please come forward? Dementia Talk and Beaconators. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner is Dementia Talk. Will the two teams in the Institutional Caregiver and Clinician Challenge set please come forward? Run. Your winner is I Am Not My Disease. Last but certainly not least, can we please have our scientist/researcher challenge sets come out? Our winners are Mabel.
Hi, everybody. I'm going to actually say a few words, so forgive me. My name is Katie Pierce. I'm the head of global operations and creative development for Facebook's Creative Shop, and I have the opportunity of presenting the award given by Facebook. It is a real distinct honor for me because dementia and Alzheimer's actually has personally touched my life. My dad died just a year and a half ago from Alzheimer's disease. So I know what this means. And the last couple of days have meant a lot to me personally. I know how devastating this disease is. I know how it devastates families. And I know how it devastates daughters because it truly devastated me. I miss my dad every day. I want you all to know that his name was Ron Riccio. I think sometimes dementia and Alzheimer's can feel so big that you forget about the individual people. The last couple of days have truly given me hope. It's easy to make the transition just to say that the last couple of days have given me hope, but they really have. What these folks here have done is remarkable. They're all still standing, and we're sitting. I can't believe it. So Facebook is so pleased to also be able to present an award. This award is given to the team whose product furthers our mission statement of giving people the power to share and making the world more open and connected. The winner will have the opportunity to come and visit our headquarters, to spend some time with our Creative Shop team, to also promote their product through advertising, to have lunch with Jordan Banks, which I think is also wonderful. And we're just so pleased to be here, and we are just so grateful to everyone. And to all of the winners and to the ones that also didn't win, keep going. We really need this. If my father had the opportunity to take part in any of these products, his life would have been better. It would have been impacted. So keep going. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for remembering my dad. So the winner of the Facebook prize goes to Take Me Home.
Thank you, Katie, for that very, very moving talk. If you could take a photo with those happy winners, I think that would make them pretty happy too. And just to let you all know, the exclusivity of this Jordan Banks lunch, I've been working with him for 5 months. I haven't even had one.
You're on. You're on.
No pressure. And now to introduce Dr. John Preece, UK Science and Innovation Officer, the man who started it all.
Thanks. So it's my great pleasure to introduce the UK prize component of this. First of all, I'd like to thank me in joining our judges. It was a lot of deliberation. On a personal level, I'm immensely grateful for them because I don't have to make this decision myself. Having to choose between these teams would have been an almost impossible task. I'd like to remind you as well, nobody's going home empty-handed. You can check the prize list on our Eventbrite page or in our materials. The UK prize is merely the icing on a sizable cake. I'll announce the winner, and then I have one more thing to say before I hand over to Shaharis. The winner of the UK component is Mabel.
Congratulations. The government may or may not have paid for that. I neither deny nor validate that statement.
It's all a matter of public record. You can FOI us. Yeah. If you've been following our the various social media channels, you'll know that as far as DementiaHack goes, we're only halfway through. We're going to deliver a similar hackathon in New York City, we think in late January. Keep an eye out for that. And as far as the British government involvement in this initiative goes, we regard this and the New York Hackathon as a dress rehearsal. And we intend to take this global, do more than 2 cities, and tap into tech talent around the globe with the help of HackerNest, we hope. And Facebook. There's no one with larger reach. I'm now going to hand it back over to Shaharis to wrap up.
I crack lots of jokes, mostly because I'm terrified of you. I'm really nervous, horrible public speaker. So I think let's end on a note that's a little more appropriate. Can we please have a hand for Phyllis Fair?
I would like just to take the time to thank all of these amazing people for what they have done, how they help every one of us living with dementia. I'm speaking for myself, and I'm sure I'm speaking for every person living with dementia out there when I say thank you to every one of you, and continue what you're doing.
Thank you, Phyllis. Congratulations! Winners and runners-up, please join us in the adjacent room for press interviews and food. Well, maybe not so much food, probably drinks. No, we didn't get more food. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice night.